What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. If I asked you what you think is better between a Genesis Coupe 3.8 or a 3.8 turbo, what do you think your answer would be? Now I think most people would jump to say, oh, 3.8 turbo, is obviously gonna be much better. You've got the benefits of the 3.8 plus the additions of being turbocharged, those sounds and the power and everything. But there's a lot of things that go into making that decision. There's reliability, there's power, there's longevity, there's sound. That's a big one. So I wanted to start a little series, maybe do a quick video at least today on Genesis Coupe 3.8 versus the 3.8 turbo, just doing a bit of a sound comparison between the two, because the main reason that I was interested, and I've bought now for Genesis Coupe 3.8s, is because of the sound. You can make these cars sound really, really good for how cheap they are. To be able to have a V6 that sounds as good as these can, I think is a huge benefit to these cars. Now, when you go to a turbocharged setup, like what I have on this car, how does that impact that sound profile that we all know and love from the 3.8? So in today's video, I thought I would do a sound comparison between the yellow Genesis over here, which is a naturally aspirated 3.8, and then the black one, which is a 3.8 with a 70mm turbo on it, and just show you a comparison for how adding a turbo changes the sound profile of the car. Now, obviously these cars don't have the identical exhaust setup. This car used to be fully catless. It now has secondary cats, but it does have primary cats gutted out on the factory headers. It's got upgraded downpipes. It's got the secondary cats in the car now, and then the stock resonator with a muffler lead. So it wires into a single pipe, goes down the car, and then wires back out into the dual exit on the rear. This car, just like that one, also has the primary cats gutted on the factory headers. And then it's got the turbo kit piping that goes crossover to the up pipe for the turbo, through the turbo, down the 3-inch down pipe, and then splits into a dual 2.5-inch straight pipe all the way back. No mufflers or resonators or anything. So this one being fully catless, but with the turbo, which quiets it down a little bit. And then this one being muffler delete, basically catless, but it's got the secondary cats now, which really was just to kind of clean up a little bit of the rasp of the car. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys think between the sound characteristics of this car naturally aspirated, and then once you add a turbo. So let's go ahead and get right into that. So here's the yellow car. I think I'm gonna break this up into doing a cold start. I say cold start, but it's currently 116 degrees in the shop. So I'll say a lukewarm start on both cars. This is the first time they've been started up today, and then we will pull them out. We'll do some revs from the rear of the car so you can hear really how the exhaust sounds, and then we'll get some clips from the front of the car so you can hear the intake noises. This one obviously has the turbo up here behind the headlight, and it does have the intake that comes down and pulls cold air from right here behind the fog light. And then this car has a similar intake system, cold air intake that also comes down and pulls air from just back here behind the fog light. So should be similar as far as where we would pick up the intake noises from, but we'll go ahead and get the cold start, and then we'll see how it sounds outside. Another thing that we're taking care of today, we've got boxes and stuff. Picked up this tire rack that I can mount to the wall, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to get it installed right over here so I can get away from having my stock wheels just sitting here on the ground kind of in the way. So we'll take care of that after we get these sound clips. All right, we'll start with the yellow car. Got the doors closed so it's fair shot since they're facing different directions. crazy of a cold start, obviously, since I said it's currently 113 degrees in here, but nonetheless sound pretty good. Let's see how that stacks up against this car in the heat of the day. And we'll see how it sounds under some revs from behind, and then we'll try out the 3.8 turbo. get some clips from the front. Hopefully we can hear those sweet cold air intake sounds. Now we'll check out the 3.8 turbo and see if we can get some nice blow off sounds and then the good T51R. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed those sound clips. The microphone definitely does not do justice to how these cars actually sound in real life, but I hope that was at least somewhat of an idea of the difference between the 3.8 naturally aspirated and then how the sound profile changes once you add a turbocharger to it. I think there's pros and cons to both sounds. The throaty, raw, NA sound that you get from the 3.8 is really good. It's not difficult at all to get that really nice, clean sound with the 3.8. And I can tell you, if I had done this test with this car fully catless, it would have been a whole different animal. The pops and bangs would have been much more noticeable. It would have been a lot more raspy, race car sounding. But I think the sound that it has now with the secondary cats on definitely cleans it up a lot. And then on the other hand, we've got the 3.8 turbo. It's got this nice blow-off sounds. It's got lots of pops and bangs, as you would have heard from those clips. Now this car does have a soft rev limiter at like 3,750 RPM for the two-step. So I wasn't able to rev it as high as I was with this one, but you still could get somewhat of an idea of how this car sounds. And then the two-step just sounds amazing. Obviously from the front you hear the blow-off valve and the turbo spooling up. So there's pros and cons to both. Now I wish I could have done a test with this car without the rev limiter on it, so you could have heard it in the higher RPMs. Unfortunately, that's kind of built into my tune, but there is a solution coming out that will allow for me to show you that in the future, and that is Alpha Speed Midwest is working on a hardware app kit that you can purchase for any of your Genesis Coupes, whether it's 3.8, 2.0T, 3.8 Turbo, and a few other different model of cars where they're actually allowing you to have map switching. Finally, it's only been, 16 years since these cars came out in the US, and we're just now getting to that point, but I'm so glad to see that that's what we're working towards. So it'll be a kit that will allow you to store up to 10 different tune maps, and you'll be able to switch them on the fly via Bluetooth with iOS devices, which is going to be awesome for the 3.8 turbo car because I'll be able to switch between a port injection tune or a E85 tune, E-blend tune, pump 93 tune. I have one that has pops and bangs, one that doesn't, one that has two-step. You can have different RPMs that your two-step comes in at, or you could have a tune that has no two-step. So that's going to be awesome. Definitely game-changing for the Genesis platform and being able to map switch on the fly if you're traveling somewhere and you have a tune for 93 and you get to an area where you only have 91. Now you can have a tune for 91 octane, which is just great. So very excited to see that come to the market here soon. I'll definitely be getting it for the black car. And if you noticed, I got the tire rack installed. It was a little more difficult than I was anticipating, just because the hardware that came with it doesn't really work for box metal sheet framing for a shop like this. It's more designed for wood application, but I was able to get it installed and it looks nice. I've got some more space on that side now with the tires up here, and I still got some more space on there. So it says 400-pound weight capacity. I'm not trying to push that because, yeah, it could be a bad day if things go wrong here. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see next on the channel. Hope you take care and have a great day.